Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason the word impossible has possible right there at the end. See, most people stop at the M and never even try. They look at the size of the mountain and don't take the first step. But listen to me. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Every dream starts with doubt. That may sound strange, even backward, but it's the truth. When something truly matters to you, when it burns inside you, that's when fear shows up. Doubt isn't the enemy of the dream. It's the sign that what you're dreaming of is big enough to change you. See, if it doesn't scare you a little, it's not stretching you. If it feels too easy, too safe, too guaranteed, it probably won't lead to growth. The dreams that rattle your bones, the ones that make your heart race and your mind whisper, what if I fail? Those are the ones that shape your destiny. Most people think that when they feel unsure, it means something's wrong. But let me flip the script for you. Doubt is not a stop sign, it's a checkpoint. It's that little moment where life asks, are you serious about this? That hesitation you feel? That's just the soul checking in to see if you're willing to take the leap. Because chasing a dream isn't about being certain. It's about believing enough to move forward even when you're not. Think about it. Every person who ever did something extraordinary felt that same knot in their stomach. Athletes, inventors, creators, entrepreneurs, even your neighbor who left a safe job to start their own business. Every single one of them had a moment where they looked in the mirror and wondered if they were enough. That's not weakness. That's real. It means you care. It means you're stepping outside your comfort zone and into the unknown. In that unknown, that's where the magic happens. The problem is most folks run from doubt. They think the presence of fear means the absence of potential. But that's not the truth. The presence of fear means there's something on the other side worth fighting for. Doubt is not the killer of dreams. It's the fire that forges them. It's how you respond to it that determines whether your dream lives or dies. You can let it push you. You can treat it like a wall or use it as a window to see just how much more you're capable of. See, when that little voice in your head says, you can't do this, it's not always the enemy. Sometimes it's the challenge. Sometimes it's life saying, prove it. And when you push through anyway, when you show up in spite of the fear, in spite of the uncertainty, that's when you grow. That's when you begin to evolve into the version of yourself that was built for the dream in the first place. Because the truth is, the dream isn't just about the destination, it's about who you have to become along the way. And becoming that person means facing the doubt head on, standing in the middle of it, and saying, I may not have all the answers, but I'm still going. Your background ain't your barrier. Let that sink in. Where you start has absolutely nothing to do with where you can go. Too many people get stuck thinking their past defines their future. They look at the neighborhood they grew up in, the money they didn't have, the opportunities they missed, the school they never finished, and they start building walls in their own mind. They start believing the lie that success is reserved for people born with silver spoons or special circumstance. But let me tell you something. Some of the most successful, powerful, inspiring people you will ever meet came from the most unlikely places. You weren't born with a ceiling. That ceiling got built by other people's opinions, by the limits society tries to place on you, by the weight of your past. But none of that is permanent unless you let it be. What matters most is what you do with what you've got, not how much you started with. I know folks who had every advantage handed to them and still didn't go anywhere. And I know people who had nothing but a dream and a fight in their soul, and they made it happen. The difference wasn't in where they came from. It was in how far they were willing to believe they could go. See, greatness doesn't ask for your resume. It doesn't check your zip code. It doesn't care if your parents had money or if you grew up sharing a bedroom with 3 other people. What greatness wants to know is this: are you hungry enough? Are you willing to work, to rise after you fall, to keep going when no one believes in you, yet not even yourself? Because when you've come from the bottom, Every step forward is proof that your story isn't over. You've already survived the struggle. Now it's time to thrive in it. You might be the first in your family to chase something bigger. You might be carrying the weight of being the example. That's pressure, sure, but it's also power. You get to break the cycle. You get to build the legacy. You get to show others that where you start doesn't have to be where you finish. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, every time you show up when it would have been easier to give up, you are rewriting the script. You are proving that the statistics don't get to write your ending. The truth is, your background might be the very thing that gives you the grit, the fight, the resilience you need to win. People who've had to scrap for every inch know how to keep pushing when things get tough. You've got something inside you that can't be taught in a classroom or handed down through a trust fund. You've got experience, hunger, scars, and those are your tools, not your chains. So don't let anyone tell you your past disqualifies you. It's not your weakness, it's your launch pad. Delay doesn't mean denial. That's a truth a lot of people struggle to hold on to when life feels slow, when doors don't open, and when prayers seem to go unanswered. We live in a world that's addicted to speed, fast food, instant results, overnight success stories, but real life doesn't move like that. Your dream might take time. Your breakthrough might not show up on your schedule. And just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Delay is part of the process. It's the space where growth takes place, where your character is built, and where your faith is tested. Sometimes what looks like a delay is actually divine preparation. You might think you're ready, but life knows you need to grow in certain areas before you step into that next level. You want the blessing, but can you handle the weight of it? You want the opportunity, but are you prepared to keep it once it comes? A delay isn't punishment, it's training. It's where you learn patience, persistence, and perspective. It's where you get the tools you need when the dream finally arrives. Because a blessing that comes too soon can be just as dangerous as one that never comes at all. Look around and you'll see people who quit right before their moment. They gave up on the dream because it didn't show up on their timeline. But just like seasons, everything has its time. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. Growth is invisible before it becomes obvious. There's a lot happening beneath the surface that you can't see. Healing, learning, alignment, timing. Sometimes the silence doesn't mean no, it means not yet. And not yet is still a part of yes. You've got to learn how to be patient in the pause, how to stay consistent when nothing is moving, how to keep showing up when it feels like no one's watching, because that's the test, that's the grind, that's where your future self is being built. It's easy to keep going when everything's working, but can you keep believing when nothing seems to be happening? That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. That's the kind of belief that makes the impossible possible. Delay also protects you. Sometimes what you're asking for needs time to be positioned right, the right people, the right resources, the right moment. It all needs to align. If you get it too early, you might settle for less. But when it comes at the right time, it fits perfectly, it flows. It blesses not just you, but everyone around you. So if you're in a waiting season, don't lose heart. Don't start thinking it'll never come just because it hasn't come yet. Keep preparing. Keep believing. Keep putting in the work. The delay is not a dead end. It's a detour with purpose. Faith plus hustle equals miracles. That's not a cute saying. That's real life. A lot of people talk about faith like it's just something you feel, like it's only about sitting still and waiting for things to happen. But that's not how it works. Faith isn't passive, it's active. It's not just believing something will come to pass. It's moving like it already has. When you combine that belief with relentless effort, with sweat, late nights, early mornings, and grind, miracles start to show up in ways you couldn't imagine. People love to talk about miracles like they're random acts of divine luck. But the truth is, most miracles come dressed in hard work. They show up in the middle of the hustle, not outside of it. If you want to see something change in your life, you can't just sit there wishing, hoping, dreaming. You got to get up and put your hands on it. You got to put your faith in motion. There's a difference between waiting and working. Faith without hustle is just hope without a plan. You can pray all day, but if you're not willing to move your feet, how are you going to walk into your blessing? The doors might be opening, but if you're still sitting on the couch, how are you going to walk through them? Hustle is what brings faith to life. It's the proof that you believe in the vision you've been given. When you grind with purpose, when you show up even when it's hard, when you keep pushing, even when you can't see the results, that's when something supernatural starts to happen. Faith says, I believe it's possible. Hustle says, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen. And when those two things come together, something powerful breaks loose. Things start aligning. Opportunities show up. People notice. Momentum builds. It's like heaven starts to respond to the rhythm of your effort. You're not waiting for a miracle. You become the miracle. You're not just asking for a breakthrough. You're creating space for it to arrive. It's not magic, it's movement. It's waking up every day and saying, I don't see it yet, but I'm still going after it. It's showing up to the job you hate while building the dream you love on the side. It's studying when you're tired. It's practicing when no one's watching. It's believing that something bigger is coming, even when all you've got is a mustard seed of faith and a whole lot of grind in your spirit. Don't get it twisted, miracles still happen, but they don't just drop out of the sky. They show up for people who refuse to quit, people who mix faith with effort, people who dare to believe while they're putting in the work. That's how the impossible becomes real. That's how the unthinkable becomes your reality. Talk like it's already yours. Speak your dream out loud, not once, not twice, but every single day, over and over again. Your words have power. What you speak, you shape. What you declare, you start to design. Most people don't understand the weight of their own voice. They think it's just talking, just random thoughts said out loud. But your words are planting seeds. And if you speak lack, you grow lack. If you speak fear, you feed fear. But if you speak life, you begin to create life around you. That dream that's been sitting in your heart, it's waiting for your voice to wake it up. You can't walk into a future you're too afraid to speak into existence. You gotta have the boldness to say, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm building. Even if it sounds crazy, even if no one claps for you yet, you can't wait for the applause. You've got to talk like the success is already in motion, like the healing is already happened, like the opportunity is already yours. Because when you talk like that, you begin to shift the way you think, the way you move, and the way others respond to you. Speaking your dream isn't about arrogance, it's about alignment. You're aligning your mouth with your mind and your mind with your mission. There's something powerful that happens when you open your mouth and claim what's yours. The atmosphere around you begins to change. Your confidence begins to rise. Your energy becomes magnetic, and that dream that felt distant starts to feel a little more real, a little more reachable, a little more yours. It doesn't matter if you're not there yet. Talk like it, walk like it, show up like it. People will call it delusion until it works. They'll call you too much until they see the result. But you can't let small minds silence your big vision. The truth is, nobody else is responsible for breathing life into your dream but you. It's your job to protect it, to feed it, to speak it into being. And here's the thing, when you speak your dream out loud consistently, you start to attract what you talk about. You start to notice opportunities that line up with what you've been declaring. You start surrounding yourself with people who match the energy of your words. That's not coincidence. That's alignment in action. That's what happens when your words stop being cheap and start being intentional. So speak it even when it feels far away. Speak it even when your current situation doesn't look like your destination. Speak it until your voice carries the rhythm of what's coming. Because if you can't say it with conviction, how are you ever going to live it with confidence? Your words are the blueprint for your future. And every time you speak your dream, you build it just a little bit more. You only fail if you quit. Let that sit with you for a moment. Not when you stumble, not when things fall apart, not when the plan changes or the timing feels off. Real failure only happens when you decide to stop trying. See, stumbling isn't falling. Tripping up doesn't mean you're finished. Life will throw you curves. You're going to have setbacks, disappointments, closed doors, and days that make you want to throw in the towel. But those aren't failures. Those are part of the climb. Those are the moments that test how bad you want it, how much you're willing to fight, and how much faith you really have when everything around you says it's not working. Getting knocked down is guaranteed. Everybody gets hit, but not everybody gets back up. And that's where the difference is made. Winners, champions, legends, they all have one thing in common. They got back up. They kept walking, even with bruises, even with tears in their eyes, even with doubt in their heart. They didn't let a stumble turn into surrender. And neither should you. Too many people let one bad chapter make them close the whole book. They mess up once and start telling themselves a story that they're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy. But the truth is, if you're still breathing, you're still building. The story isn't over unless you put the pen down. You got to stop confusing temporary defeat with permanent failure. Just because it's hard right now doesn't mean it's not working. Sometimes the breakthrough is hiding behind your last setback. Sometimes you've got to lose something to make room for something better. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to have the heart to keep going, keep learning, keep adjusting, keep getting back up. Fix your crown, wipe your face, remind yourself who you are. You've already made it through things other people would have folded under. You're still standing. That's power. That's proof. That's purpose in motion. Quitting is the only thing that guarantees you won't make it. Every other outcome still leaves room for growth, for lessons, for second chances. And sometimes the stumble teaches you more than the smooth path ever could. It builds grit, it builds wisdom, it builds a version of you that's ready for the dream when it finally arrives. That stumble might just be the setup for your comeback. So when the world tells you to give up, when your own mind tries to convince you it's over, I need you to remember this. It's not. You are not done. You are not broken. You are not a failure. You are in process. You are on the journey. And as long as you keep showing up, keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep speaking life into your own soul, you haven't failed. You're just getting started.